With me now, syndicated talk radio host John Fredericks and Bill Press, host of the Bill Press Show. John, you come back. You're a glutton for punishment. You come back every week, and we appreciate you for it. So let's be self-indulgent and talk about ourselves, shall we? Which I really don't like to do, but we'll do about it because we've been talking about CNN, John, the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Politico, BuzzFeed, blocked from an off-camera press briefing today held by White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. This came just hours after the president said this.
As you saw throughout the entire campaign, and even now, the fake news doesn't tell the truth. Doesn't tell the truth. So just in finishing, I say it doesn't represent the people. It never will represent the people. And we're going to do something about it.
John, do you think this is what the president is talking? What do you think of what he's talking about there?
Well, I think there's two issues. What the president is saying is, look, we can't have news that is not accurate. We've got commentary and opinion masquerading as straight news within the mainstream media. That is what he's calling out. He's got a right to do that. As far as today, at a press gaggle with Sean Spicer, not inviting certain people, let me just ask you this question. I guess I missed the funeral of the person who died and left the New York Times in charge. I mean, give me a breakdown. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. You have a press gaggle after a major speech by the president at CPAC.
So, John, you think is this a coincidence that the two news organizations that have been reporting strongly on stories that have been corroborated and that have panned out, that they were not invited into this press gaggle? That was just a coincidence?
Don, look, Sean Spicer today said,
come on, John, answer my question. Come on, man.
Don, you asked me the question.
Busted.
May I respond? May I respond?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
He invited certain people in. He invited all the press that reports to the pool, all the information. They have the audio. Second, he invited NBC, ABC, CBS, McClatchy, my former company. These are not
They haven't been reporting on the Russian connections or the FBI.
He invited a lot of Don. He invited a lot of people. He didn't invite CNN. He didn't invite the New York Times. Who cares?
All right, Bill.
You got all the information.
All right,
this is so ridiculous. I can't even
let
believe
Bill get in. Let Bill get in.
Whoa. Can I just say, first of all, I'm a member of the White House Correspondents Association. I go to the briefings. I've been going every day to the briefings for the last 8 years. We watched with just afraid of what might happen, watching during the campaign when Donald Trump called out certain reporters by name, banned certain outlets from coming to his campaign events. And we've been afraid since then that that's what would happen once he got in the White House. Two things. Number one, they would throw the press out of the briefing room, which they haven't done. But number two, they would start to cherry pick people who are allowed in. That's exactly what happened today, and I think it is appalling. It is troubling.
Bill,
and
that's not true.
It is a huge, huge mistake. And let me tell you, so this was called as a gaggle. I get the notice. The gaggle was in the briefing room.
Bill, that's not true.
It was changed.
What you're saying
yes, it
is
is.
just inaccurate.
No.
Let him
Stop.
finish.
You are wrong.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, you're wrong. I get the notice from the White House. I'll show it to you. I'll email it to you after the show. It was a gaggle called in the briefing room. At noon, it was changed to a gaggle in Spicer's office as an expanded pool. And then, as certain people walked in, Huffington Post, Politico, LA Times, New York Times, and CNN, who just happened to be the people who have been writing about the Russian connection, by the way, and not proven false at all, it is correct, they were not allowed in.
Okay.
This is suppression of the media.
This is how my colleague Jake Tapper started his show today.
Let's not make any mistake about what's happening here. A White House that has had some difficulty telling the truth and that has seemed to have trouble getting up to speed on the basic competent functioning of government, and a president who seems particularly averse to any criticism and has called the press the enemies of the American people. They are taking the next step in attempting to avoid checks and balances and accountability. It's not acceptable. In fact, it's petulant and indicative of a lack of basic understanding of how an adult White House functions. In fact, Sean Spicer in December seemed to completely understand this. He said the White House would not ban any media organization as the Trump campaign had. He said, quote, "We have a respect for the press when it comes to the government. That is something you can't ban an entity from, conservative, liberal, or otherwise. I think that's what makes a democracy versus a dictatorship. The Trump White House now, led by Sean Spicer's White House operation in the communication division, is now targeting multiple media organizations, and it seems to think it can punish reporters for sharing with you facts that they don't like. They offer rhetoric designed to mislead and confuse you about this issue, such as this from the president today.
We are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake. A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. Because they have no sources, they just make them up when there are none.
It's just simply not true. So don't misunderstand what's going on with that rhetoric and with today's action banning various media outlets, including CNN and the New York Times. This White House does not seem to respect the idea of accountability. This White House does not seem to value an independent press. There is a word for that line of thinking. The word is un-American.
And by the way, this is coming from a White House where people who are there currently now have been speaking on background. They've been asking people to speak on background. They have been sources for this network and others. Donald Trump used to reportedly call reporters as John Miller for his own press. He has spoken on background before and has been the source of many stories. So John Barron or John Miller or whomever. So what's going on here, John? Is Jake right? I think he might be.
Well, it's interesting narrative by Jake, and it's a good commentary, and he can do whatever editorial he pleases. That's editorial commentary. We allow that. In America, we have a free press, and anybody can say from an editorial standpoint or commentary as a columnist whatever they please. I don't agree with them. Look, what happened today, the arrogance of some of these press people that think that, you know, they have a seat at the table no matter what happens. In the press briefings with Sean Spicer, I'm a member of the White House correspondence crew, just like Bill Press is. I've seen him there several times. Look, there's only so many seats in there. Sean Spicer said, look, I'm not going to have this today. I'm going to invite several people to my office. He invited the pool press so that everybody knows what this means. And we got to get this clear. When you invite the pool press, that means that everything is said is on the record, and they disseminate it to everybody else. This is nothing different what he had today.
John, you know, do you believe, John, what if it was Fox News? What if, would you feel the same way if it was Fox News?
You guys are mad because you didn't have the
Nobody's mad here. I'm just asking you.
Who cares?
I just think you're being disingenuous. Would you feel the same way if it was Fox News, John?
I don't watch Fox News. I watch CNN, so I could care less.
Okay.
Right? I don't watch Fox. They're not interesting. I watch CNN.
No, if I can just
quickly, Bill, I got to get a break in. Do you want to respond on the other side? I'll give you a longer chance on the other side. We'll be right back.
All right. 10 minutes on the other side.
All right, we'll be back. All right, Bill Press, go.
Yeah, just got to say, first of all, on the pool, I got to clarify that, right? Yeah, the pool's a very small group of reporters representing print and television and radio. And they come in like the Oval Office when the president's just meeting with a foreign leader, because not everybody can get in. On Air Force One, because not everybody can fly on that plane. This was a pool. They expanded the pool. When they expanded it, they left out anybody who's been critical of the president, point number one. Point number two, all this talk about fake news, even from John tonight and from Donald Trump when I was on my way over here tonight, nobody has proven that any of the stories reported by the New York Times or CNN have been false.
And they never point out
true stories.
When you ask them, they never really pointed out. So listen, I want to talk about this. Is today in Los Angeles, the United Talent Agency held a United Voices rally in place of the agency's annual Academy Award party. Look at all the voices that have been speaking there today. Michael J. Fox, Jodie Foster, Gavin Newsom, Lieutenant Governor. I mean, on and on and on and on. What do you? And this is on top of all the rallies that have been happening around the country at Republican rallies, all of the marches. What do you think of this, John?
Look, Don, I've said this before. I think this is a great thing. And I think Republican congressmen that refuse to hold legitimate town hall meetings in legitimate areas and open it up in big venues are really missing the boat on this. I think they owe it to their constituents. They owe it to everybody. Look, if I was a Republican congressman in any district, I would have 5 of them a week when I had the week off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I would pick the biggest venues possible, and I would have it at every location in my district and invite everybody to come and stand there and take
But it
the
seems like
question.
there's
This is democracy.
It's from the
People are
everyday
upset,
voter
they need to be heard.
to some of the biggest names in Hollywood. The UTA represents some of the biggest names in the television and the movie industry.
Yes.
They donated $250,000 to the American Civil Liberties Union, the International Rescue Committee. Do you think that the Republicans and the Trump administration should be concerned about this, the big guys getting together with the little guys?
I think it's part of the democracy process, Don. And the worst thing that Republicans can do is hide from this and do a Facebook Live, which is absolutely ridiculous, telephone meetings, and say they're afraid about security. Look, they can get security there.
Last
they need to
word
be heard. And as far as
Bill
like,
Press.
they need to be
I
heard.
just got to say,
The
you know what? This is.
protesters.
Thank you, John.
I
This is
encourage
another.
the protesters.
This is another manifestation, Don, of the resistance. It's popping up everywhere. I think it's healthy. It is democracy. John is
Yes,
right about
it
that.
is healthy.
This is democracy in action. It is great. And I just want to make a
Absolutely.
point here. You notice the Democratic Party is not organizing this. This is not Democrat versus Republican. This is the people speaking up against the Donald Trump agenda from
Thank you,
top to
gentlemen.
bottom. It's manifest.
Have a great weekend. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Police in Malaysia say one of the deadliest nerve agents in the world was used to kill the half